Hey everyone, Dave Brown here with The New Populist. If you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe. As we move toward 2024, we're going to see a lot of different chess moves on both sides. The side of freedom, our side, and the side of the establishment. And to really illustrate this, there's a gentleman I want to talk about named Timothy Snyder, who is a Yale professor who was an expert on fascism, tyranny, authoritarianism, and he's also a regular on MSNBC. Now, of course, if you're a regular on MSNBC, you are reliably anti-Trump. They know what you're going to say. You're going to attack Donald Trump and give them the sound bites that they want. Well, if you go through Timothy Snyder's Twitter, he's a big proponent of critical race theory, shockingly enough. He believes that Donald Trump is the second coming of Mussolini, and that any attempts to figure out what happened with the 2020 election amounts to trying to overthrow democracy. Now, one of the things I noticed on his Twitter, he talks about critical race theory as being an attack on teaching history. And if you see my other videos on critical race theory, you would know that critical race theory is not about teaching history. Now, that's that misdirect the left does when they don't want to talk about what something actually is. So he's one of those people who does that same move where he says, oh, you're attacking critical race theory. You don't want people to understand history. Critical race theory is not about teaching history. And so I'll say it for the millionth time, from their words, one of the fathers of critical race theory, in his book, Critical Race Theory, he says, unlike traditional civil rights, which embraces incrementalism and step-by-step progress, critical race theory questions the very foundation of the liberal order, including equality theory, legal reasoning, Enlightenment rationalism, and neutral principles of constitutional law. That's critical race theory. It's not about teaching history. That's the misdirect. So when they say that, they're looking to shift the argument from what it actually is, which is a very radical philosophy, to something that seems benign. We're just teaching history. We want people to know what happened back during slavery and before then. So he's either ignorant of the truth or he's a propagandist. Well, he does say some interesting things. We have to pay attention to what they say because this sort of lays out what's going to happen in the future. Again, for example, on his Twitter, he talks about Facebook being part of the right wing or controlled by the right wing. And this was before the 2020 election. What's happening right now with Facebook? They're being attacked by the mainstream establishment. There's the phony whistleblower. And they're looking to regulate Facebook because of misinformation and the right using Facebook to spread lies that undermines democracy. So he's part of this system, this part of this establishment move for more regulation, looking to limit conservatives and people on the right. And he couches his position as being pro-democracy. So this is what the radical left does. Their positions are pro-democracy, and our freedom of speech isn't freedom of speech because we're authoritarians, we're fascists, so it's okay to stifle our freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Well, Snyder went on MSNBC recently, and he made some comments about the 2024 election. Check out this clip.
What we're looking at is people who believe in or pretend to believe in this big lie actually carrying out our elections. And the problem with this, or one of them, is that since these people have already claimed that the other side cheated, that basically legitimates their cheating. In other words, if you talk about the big lie now, you're basically promising to cheat the next time around. And that's very concerning.
How worried are you that the United States could face a situation where coordinated efforts by these kind of officials could actually swing an election?
Oh, we don't need the could face. It's that, I mean, I would say we should be thinking about this as what is happening and then ask ourselves what we can do to prevent it.
So according to Snyder, we are in the process right now of undermining the 2024 election, and it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to cheat. And what's his indication of this? What's his proof of this? Well, people are challenging the credibility of the 2020 election, and that alone means that we are planning to cheat in 2024. And then he ends that clip by saying, it's happening right now. So that's the question, is not whether or not it's happening. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Now, what Timothy Snyder is aware of, and what the left is aware of, and where the right is a little behind, is on the issue of mechanisms of power. And what that means is, it doesn't matter what the law says. What matters is, do you have people in the right positions to control outcomes? Now, us on the right, we're a little naive. We hold up our copies of the Constitution and go, well, this is the way it's supposed to be. Why aren't people following this? And we watched in Pennsylvania in 2020 when they changed the laws that were unconstitutional, and we thought that the Supreme Court would step in and go, they're not allowed to change the laws. The legislature is supposed to change the laws, not the Secretary of State, not the governor, not a single person unilaterally. That's illegal. And we expected the Supreme Court to step in and stop that. They didn't. Well, what did we learn? The Supreme Court is one of those mechanisms of power that we did not control. The establishment controls that. Now, the left likes to say that the court is 6'3" conservative. That doesn't really reflect the truth of the matter. The court is an establishment court. I would say there's probably 2 or 3 people on that court who are actually reliably constitutionalists. The rest of them, it depends. So the mechanism of power is controlled by the establishment. And the 2020 election finally awared us on the right that it's not what the law says. If you don't, what matters is not just what it says, but do you have people in position to actually enforce the law? We became aware of that. And so the entire point of these last several months, where we're doing the audits and we're getting some of these rhinos out of there and replacing them with people who are more reliable, it's us recognizing that it's not good enough to have the law on our side. We have to have people in the right positions to enforce the law. And so now that we're doing that, this guy, Timothy Snyder's going, uh-oh, now there's people in the right position to enforce the law. So we're going to couch this as being an attack on democracy. This means that they're already going to cheat. And the question is not, are they going to cheat? They are cheating, is how we're going to stop them. So politics is a chess game. You know, they made their move in 2020. We're making our move right now to get back those mechanisms of power. And now the next step for them is to, okay, they're getting back these mechanisms of power, the right. What are we going to do about it to stop them in 2024? So we have the chessboard in front of us. One move on their side, we respond, and now what is their response going to be? And for us on the right, this is where we need to pay attention to see what they do next to undermine the move that we made to try to make these elections more fair, more secure, and that we have people in position to do the right thing and not carry the water for the establishment and force an outcome that's already decided. So remember, we on the right, we look at our system with reverence. We appreciate our founding documents, our founding fathers, and we understand how unique our system is, and we think it's special and something to protect. The left thinks our founding documents are racist documents. They think our founding fathers are racist bigots, and they have no respect for the American system. They say it every day that they want to tear down what established this country, while at the same time saying that they're the biggest proponents of democracy and respecting the Constitution. What they are the biggest liars, biggest manipulators, and they're playing a game that has no rules, and we have to recognize it if we're going to beat them in 2024. That's it for now. Again, if you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.